Ever notice how some things just take you back?
Hmm.
Like the other day, I heard kids arguing on a playground, and suddenly, bam,
Yeah.
right back to elementary school.
Yeah, I hear that.
Figuring out friendships, navigating the whole social scene, and, well, sometimes it goes beyond just typical kid stuff and crosses the line into bullying.
Right.
So today, we're diving into expert tips on how to equip your child with the tools to handle these situations. And I'm glad we're past,
Yeah.
just the generic advice. Let's get practical,
Yeah.
right?
I think what's really cool about the tips we found is that they focus on proactive strategies.
Okay.
So it's not just about reacting to bullying when it happens. It's about proactively building that resilience in kids
Yeah.
so they can handle these challenges head on.
I love that. And speaking of being proactive, the first couple tips are all about communication. Listen and encourage. We hear this a lot, but it's surprising how often, it's easy to forget.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important for us to, as adults, to realize how heavy it feels for a child to carry the burden of bullying alone,
Right.
especially when they're afraid of judgment or disbelief from the adults in their life.
Oh, for sure.
And that's why actively listening without interruption and validating their feelings is so crucial.
Mm-hmm.
It builds that trust and shows them that their voice actually matters. One powerful technique I love is reflective listening. So if a child says, "They called me names," you can rephrase it back. It sounds like you felt really hurt when they said that to you.
Yeah.
And this validates their emotions and often encourages them to open up even further.
It reminds me of just how important it is to create that safe space for open communication, which is something I try to do with my own kids. But what about when they need a little more than just a listening ear?
That's where encouraging them to see help comes in.
Yeah.
Let them know that they're not alone. And asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Absolutely.
And you are there for them. You are their advocate.
Absolutely. You're empowering them to find their own voice through all of this. Okay, so let's unpack the next two tips. I think these are so important when it comes to building that inner strength, and that's helping your child develop assertiveness, but then also building their self-esteem.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I always worry about the assertiveness piece. Like, is that going to backfire?
Okay.
Am I encouraging a different kind of, you know,
Aggression. That is such a common misconception.
is it?
Assertiveness is not about aggression at all. It's about confident communication. Teaching a child to stand tall, make eye contact, and use a firm voice when saying no or setting boundaries.
So it's like we're giving them a crash course in confidence.
Exactly.
So
Like
it's that.
a superhero training montage for confidence.
Ah, yes.
And there's some really practical examples in these resources, like role-playing different scenarios with your child. Practicing phrases they can use if someone is teasing them or trying to pressure them into something they don't want to do.
So good. And building self-esteem goes hand in hand with that.
Absolutely.
What activities light your child up? Is it sports? Is it music? Is it art? Encourage their passions. It helps them develop such a strong sense of self, and that makes them less likely to be an easy target, because when they feel good about themselves and what they're capable of, it shows.
Yeah, it really does.
So it's a wonderful way to kind of approach this whole thing with building that confidence. Speaking of empowering kids, our experts also stress the importance of staying involved with one final crucial tip.
Yes.
Monitor the situation. Now, we're not talking, helicopter parenting here.
No,
Okay?
no, not at all. It's about consistent involvement, regularly checking in with your child, staying informed about their social dynamics, and maintaining open communication with their teachers.
So it's like being proactive on multiple fronts.
Exactly.
And I noticed that a lot of these sources even offered really specific advice on how to navigate those sometimes difficult conversations with school officials or, even other parents, if it comes to that.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's so important for anyone listening to remember that you are not alone in this. Schools, communities, even online resources offer incredible support systems to help navigate these challenges.
Something that really struck me when we were going through all of this is just how much bullying really impacts everyone. It's not just the child being bullied, it's the whole classroom, the whole schoolyard dynamic. It even affects families.
Absolutely. It really makes you think about the kind of world that we're creating and how each of us can contribute to a culture of empathy and respect. And that's not just for our own children, but for all children.
For everyone.
Yes.
Well said.